Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky recently came out with a video that is getting a lot of attention where he is trying to attract Western investors into Ukraine. I find it kind of interesting that, other sources are just picking up on this because this was something I was talking about in my videos 2-3 months ago at least. And there are certain aspects of this which other sources are just not picking up on. I'm not going to criticize. They kind of feed off each other, and I try to bring a more original perspective on things, to look beyond what is the obvious here. He's talking to who? J.P. Morgan, BlackRock, and this and that, all these companies that, he wants to bring outside investments in. Okay, here's the first thing to think about, and Ukraine has been selling off agricultural land as well. So here's a question that you should be asking, which is that, how is the Ukrainian government able to sell off resources? Because Ukraine already had, their own banks, industries, manufacturing, real estate, commercial real estate, etc., which at this point, they're not really asking for investment. What they're doing is literally selling off their assets. In my previous videos, I talked about the fact that they get all these loans and investments and so forth, and they're not going to be able to pay the loans off. Any wealth, profit that is created by outside companies, Western investors, the profits are all going to leave the country. What about the Ukrainian banks and manufacturing and industries? Shouldn't they be trying to rebuild that? Keep in mind what happened with Afghanistan and Iraq and the rebuilding of those countries. Who came in? Blackwater, Halliburton, and so forth. And this is who is going to be going into Ukraine when this is all over, if Russia doesn't take over the entire country, which is a risk at this point. Russia has said that they don't want to do that, but it all depends on how things progress from this point forward. I don't believe that Putin is going to negotiate with Zelensky, because Zelensky has said he won't negotiate with Putin. Zelensky has already gone back on 2 agreements, the Minsk Accords and then the negotiations that happened in March of last year. So he's already proven very clearly he cannot be trusted. You cannot negotiate in good faith with the Zelensky regime. I find it very interesting that this video comes out asking for all these investments right when all these people are being fired or quitting for corruption. Dozens of people high in the government are being fired or are quitting with this corruption purge that they're talking about. And at least one person I think there were several people on a helicopter that was allegedly shot down. And I'd like to know about who was on that helicopter. Of course, we don't really know that that a helicopter was even shot down. All we have is the word of the Ukrainian regime stating that this helicopter went down. But I'm not going to go into some conspiracy theory on that subject. There's, okay, agricultural land. How is the government selling off agricultural land? Didn't farmers already own that land? How did it go from the farmers' ownership to the government for the government to sell to foreign investors, buyers, whatever? These are questions that really should be asked. Another thing to notice about these people that are quitting or getting fired is that many, none of them are getting arrested, anything like that. In fact, some of them are just being put into different government positions. So you haven't got rid of corruption. All you've done is played musical chairs and shuffled things around. Are these Western investors going to pump money into Ukraine now, right now, when Ukraine has a history of being the most corrupt government in Europe? Okay. They have a long history of this, dating back to when they separated from the USSR. It has been well known, well documented, well reported in the Western media for decades. So are they going to just pump money in? And when there is the risk that Russia may take over the country, possibility, I don't think that Russia will, but there is that possibility. So are they going to just pump billions of dollars in right now? And I don't think so. If these companies do come in, let's say that all of this ends tomorrow, all these companies come in with the history of corruption in Ukraine. These companies are going to come in and demand that things are done their way. That means that, corrupt or not, you are taking away more of Ukrainian sovereignty. The country is going to have to bow to the dictates of their outside investors. They're not going to be able to mouth off the way that they have been to the countries that have been providing them aid. No, we need more. We need more. Give us more. Give us more. Give us more. No, it's not going to work like that. Investors want a return on their investment. And they are going to demand that return on investment. They're not going to pump money in just to keep sinking money in. It's not going to happen that way. So their way of doing business is going to have to change, which is going to have a downstream effect on their culture, on their society. Open for business. Well, they can't even keep the lights on right now. And that's just a fact. So no, you're not open for business. Yeah, you're trying to get investments for the future, which is an uncertain future. That's what's going on. Now, if you walk into a bank and ask for a loan to start a business, you're going to have to show that that business is going to have some viability, that you're going to be able to pay the bank back. Okay. This is a fact. That's what investors are going to demand from Ukraine businesses that come in, they are going to demand that you show that you are going to be able to give them an ROI, a return on investment. So he can make all the videos that he wants and talk in his voice that sounds like, excuse me, Patrick Bateman with freaking strep throat. What is that? What is wrong with his voice? Sorry, tangent. All right, then you've got the concern of how are you going to operate any of the businesses or industries that come in. Ukraine has lost a lot of people in this war, and millions have moved out of the country, either going to Russia or going to Europe. Those people are not going to come back. Not if there's nothing to come back to, unless they are forced out of other European countries to return to Ukraine, which I can see happening at some point once this is over, but they're not willingly going to go back when there's nothing to return to. When there are no jobs, no industries to work in, no banking, no viable banking system in place anymore. No, the electricity is unstable. The water is questionable. I've already pointed out that they have lost so many reproductive age males in this conflict that they had to lift the age restriction for conscription. You can find videos online of Ukrainian forces forcibly kidnapping people off the street to put them in the military to send them to the front lines. With the age restriction lifted, they can be picking up people, 14-year-olds and 70-year-olds and forcing them to go fight. Well, if you don't have, in general, their reproductive age people are the ones that are also the ones that do most of the work in their industries and their businesses. So that means that Ukraine is going to have to, what? Recruit workers from other countries, which is further going to degrade their culture, their heritage. They have completely given up all of their sovereignty, all of their culture, all of their heritage. It's gone forever. It is not coming back. Whatever remains. You think about a small town in America and how small towns have been taken over by chain stores and fast food restaurants. Well, that's going to be the same thing. It's not going to have any character. It's all going to be one chain after another, with no personality, no heritage, no culture, no nothing. And then you're going to have people from other countries that are going to demand to be able to continue their way of life to some degree from the countries that they came from. So these are all things that other sources aren't really talking about with all of this. And they are important points. So he can make all the videos that he wants to try and get money from Western investors and whatever else. There's nothing that he won't ask for at all. You know, I'm surprised he's not asking us to send us our children. You know, but wait for it. It's probably coming. Send us your infants. We need a future generation. We teach them to speak Ukrainian. We make them Ukrainian. What else? You know, what else can they ask for that they have not asked for at this point? And how realistic is any of it? All right, share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this channel and my presidential campaign. And I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.